The foundation of every relationship begins not with how much we are loved, but with how much we value ourselves. When we don't hold self-respect, even the warmest gestures of love can feel empty. Imagine trying to build a house on sand. The structure may look beautiful for a while, but without a strong base, it will eventually collapse. Relationships without self-respect are built the same way. When someone says they love you, but deep inside you don't believe you're worthy, those words carry little weight. You may hear them, but you don't truly feel them. It's like pouring water into a cracked cup. It never stays, it always leaks. No matter how much love others try to give, it slips through the cracks of low self-respect. Self-respect is the ground on which love stands. It's the assurance that I am enough as I am. When that belief is firm, love becomes a gift rather than a necessity. Without it, love becomes a lifeline we desperately cling to, hoping it will keep us afloat. But love alone cannot hold us if we do not already stand firm in ourselves. People often chase love to fill a void, hoping it will fix the parts of themselves they do not respect. But love cannot replace self-worth, it can only reflect it. If we do not value ourselves, we end up questioning, doubting, or even sabotaging the love we receive. It never feels safe, because we don't feel safe within ourselves. When we respect ourselves, love is no longer about validation, it becomes about connection. Instead of asking, do they love me enough, we start asking, do we bring out the best in each other? That shift changes everything. Love turns from a fragile dependency into a shared strength. Consider how differently we behave when we hold self-respect. We set boundaries without fear of losing someone. We express our needs without guilt. We walk away when love becomes toxic, not because we don't care, but because we care about ourselves too. Self-respect teaches us that staying true to who we are is more valuable than staying in a love that diminishes us. Without self-respect, even love can become harmful. We tolerate things we shouldn't. We make excuses for behaviors that wound us. We tell ourselves, least I'm loved, while slowly losing pieces of who we are. That kind of love isn't really love, it's survival. And survival is not the same as happiness. But when the foundation is respect, love feels different. It's no longer hollow, it's full. It's not about clinging to someone else to feel whole, but about sharing two already whole lives. Respect doesn't take away the need for love. It makes love richer, stronger, and unshakable. Love without respect is not love, it is dependency. When we are willing to sacrifice our dignity, our boundaries, and even our identity just to be loved, what we are really seeking is not connection but approval. That hunger may feel like love, but it is a fragile bond built on fear, the fear of being alone, the fear of not being enough, the fear that without someone else we are nothing. Dependency disguises itself as passion. It convinces us that the constant need to be reassured is evidence of how deeply we care. But in truth, it is not devotion, it is desperation. When we cannot respect ourselves, every ounce of love we demand from another is an attempt to fill an emptiness we have neglected within. This is why relationships built on dependency are so unstable. One moment they feel intoxicating, the next they feel suffocating. We become consumed by the thought of losing that love, because without it we have nothing left. In that space, love is no longer a choice. It becomes a chain. And chains, no matter how comforting at first, eventually weigh us down. True love thrives on freedom, but dependency thrives on control. Without self-respect, we try to hold on tighter, thinking that if we can just keep someone close enough, we will never feel unworthy again. But love that is controlled is not love, it is possession. And possession drains the life out of both people involved. When we crave love more than we honor respect, we start to accept treatment we would never allow if we valued ourselves. We excuse harsh words, we overlook betrayal, we tolerate neglect, all in the name of love. But what we call love in those moments is not love at all. It is fear disguised as loyalty. And the tragedy is this: dependency convinces us we are experiencing the deepest love, when in reality, it is the farthest thing from it. Real love allows us to breathe, to grow, to be ourselves without fear of losing everything. Dependency does the opposite. It suffocates us until we can no longer recognize who we are outside the relationship. Respect is what draws the line between love and dependency. With respect, we can love someone fully and still walk away if they hurt us. Without respect, we stay even when every part of us knows we should leave. Respect says, I choose love, but I don't need it to survive. Dependency says, without love, I am nothing. That is why love without respect is never enough. It may hold us together for a time, but it will never set us free. It binds us to another person in ways that strip away our independence, our confidence, and our dignity until what remains is not love, but a hollow version of it. Respect is the soil where authentic love takes root. When we respect ourselves, we no longer chase love to feel whole, we bring wholeness into the relationship. This shift changes everything because true love does not grow from emptiness. It grows from abundance. When we value who we are, love becomes a choice we give, not a need we beg for. Self-respect allows us to love without fear of losing ourselves. Instead of shrinking to fit into someone else's world, we stand tall on our own. That strength gives us the courage to be honest, to be vulnerable, and to be real. Authentic love requires truth, and truth only flows when we respect our own voice enough to speak it. When we hold respect for ourselves, we invite respect from others. People learn how to treat us by watching how we treat ourselves. If we honor our values, others are more likely to honor them too. In this way, self-respect sets the tone for the kind of love we will receive. It becomes the silent teacher in every relationship. Love that grows from respect is never about control. It is not about changing someone or molding them into what we need. It is about freedom. Two people choosing each other not because they must, but because they want to. Respect makes space for individuality within togetherness, and that balance is what makes love sustainable. Without self-respect, love easily turns into performance. We try to become who we think the other person wants us to be, hoping it will secure their affection. But that is not authentic love, that is acting. Respect frees us from the need to perform. It allows us to be seen fully, flaws and all, and to trust that love will stay. Respect also protects love when challenges arise. Every relationship faces conflict, misunderstandings, and struggles. Without self-respect, those moments can spiral into blame, silence, or surrender. But with self-respect, we navigate difficulties differently. We speak our truth without fear, we listen with openness, and we hold our dignity even when emotions run high. Authentic love does not demand perfection, it demands presence. And presence is only possible when we respect ourselves enough to show up honestly without hiding or pretending. Self-respect strips away the masks, and in that space, love finds room to grow in its purest form. When two people both carry self-respect, love becomes not a transaction but a transformation. It is not about filling gaps but about multiplying strengths. It is not about dependency but about partnership. In that space, love is no longer fragile. It is resilient, alive, and deeply authentic. Boundaries are the visible expression of self-respect. They are not walls to keep people out, but lines that define how we deserve to be treated. When we have the courage to set boundaries, we communicate to the world, this is who I am, and this is what I will allow. That clarity is not only healthy, it is essential for love to thrive. Without boundaries, love becomes unbalanced. One person gives too much while the other takes without limit. Over time, that imbalance breeds resentment, exhaustion, and even bitterness. But when boundaries are clear, love becomes mutual. Each person knows where the other stands, and both are free to meet in the middle with respect. Boundaries are not about selfishness, they are about self-preservation. They ensure that we do not lose ourselves while loving someone else. In fact, the stronger our boundaries, the deeper our love can be, because we are not afraid of being consumed or erased in the process. Love rooted in boundaries is steady, not desperate. When we fail to set boundaries, we silently give permission for others to cross them. We accept behaviors that hurt us, we tolerate words that diminish us, and we allow actions that betray our values. Over time, this erodes not only our relationships, but also our own sense of worth. Boundaries are the antidote to that erosion. Every healthy relationship requires limits. Just as roads need lanes to avoid chaos, relationships need boundaries to avoid harm. These limits may be emotional, physical, or even spiritual, but they all serve the same purpose: to protect our dignity while protecting the integrity of the relationship. Without them, love has no framework to stand on. The act of drawing a boundary is not an act of rejection. It is an act of respect, both for ourselves and for the other person. By saying no to what crosses the line, we say yes to healthier patterns of love. We create a space where honesty, trust, and kindness can flourish without fear of being taken for granted. Boundaries also reveal our value. They show that we recognize our worth and expect others to recognize it too. When we enforce those lines, we teach people that our love is not unconditional acceptance of disrespect, but an invitation to share a connection built on equality. That kind of love grows stronger because it is anchored in honor. And perhaps most importantly, boundaries give us freedom. Freedom to love without resentment, to give without losing, and to receive without guilt. When love operates within the framework of respect, it becomes safer, stronger, and infinitely more meaningful. Confidence built on self-respect is unshakable because it does not depend on who loves us or who notices us. It comes from within, from the quiet certainty that our worth is not up for debate. When we stand tall in that truth, love becomes something to enjoy, not something to cling to for survival. Validation is fleeting. It comes and goes with the moods, opinions, and presence of others. One moment we feel seen, the next we feel invisible. But confidence rooted in self-respect does not waver with external approval. It is steady, even in silence, because it does not need applause to exist. When we rely on validation, we hand our self-worth to others. Every compliment lifts us, but every criticism destroys us. That constant swinging between highs and lows keeps us trapped in uncertainty. Confidence breaks that cycle. It says, I know who I am even if no one else reminds me. Self-respect makes rejection less frightening. Without it, rejection feels like proof that we are unworthy. With it, rejection becomes redirection. It simply shows us where we do not belong. Instead of crumbling, we adjust, we grow, and we move forward with dignity intact. Confidence also changes how we enter relationships. Instead of asking, will they love me? We ask, do they align with the love I already have for myself? That shift removes desperation and replaces it with discernment. We no longer chase love, we choose it. And chosen love is far stronger than begged love. Validation can be addictive. The more we get it, the more we crave it, and the more powerless we feel without it. But confidence is freedom. It allows us to stand in a crowded room without needing every eye on us. It allows us to be alone without feeling empty. It allows us to walk away without fear of being forgotten. Self-respect gives us the backbone to say, even without your love, I am still enough. That statement is not arrogance, it is strength. It is the recognition that love is beautiful, but it is not the sole source of our identity. Confidence transforms love from a lifeline into a blessing. When we choose confidence over validation, we no longer chase people who cannot see our worth. We no longer bend ourselves to fit into spaces where we do not belong. We stand tall, knowing that love is not what gives us value. It is what we share because we already have value. Love, no matter how deep or passionate, can be lost. People change, circumstances shift, and sometimes even the strongest bonds unravel. But while love may fade, self-respect does not have to. It is the one constant that stays with us long after the relationship ends, the anchor that reminds us we are still whole. When a relationship ends, what hurts most is not just the absence of love, but the fear that we have lost a piece of ourselves with it. Yet if we have cultivated self-respect, that fear loses its grip. We may grieve the love, but we do not lose our dignity. We may feel pain, but we do not lose our identity. Self-respect is the part of us that cannot be taken away, no matter who walks out of our life. It whispers, "You are still worthy," even when no one is there to say it. That inner assurance softens the blow of loss, turning heartbreak into growth instead of devastation. When love is gone, many people rush to fill the emptiness with another relationship. But without self-respect, that cycle only repeats. We jump from one love to another, hoping to find ourselves in someone else's eyes. Respect breaks that cycle. It allows us to pause, to heal, and to rebuild without losing our center. Losing love can sometimes feel like losing everything. But in truth, what we keep is more important. We keep our values, our character, our strength. Self-respect ensures that no matter what happens, we walk away with ourselves intact. That security is more powerful than any romantic promise. Even in the deepest heartbreak, self-respect teaches us not to settle for less than we deserve. It stops us from going back to what broke us just because we miss being loved. It reminds us that love is replaceable, but dignity is not. Once dignity is gone, it is much harder to recover than a lost relationship. Love is shared. It depends on two people. Respect, however, is ours alone. No one else has control over it, unless we hand it away. That makes it far more reliable than love, because it is not vulnerable to another person's choices. It is a permanent companion that strengthens us whether we are loved or alone. This is why, when love ends, respect carries us forward. It lifts us back to our feet, reminds us of our worth, and prepares us to love again. This time from a place of strength rather than need. Love can leave, but respect stays, guiding us through every ending and into every new beginning. Respect has a magnetic quality. When we carry ourselves with dignity, we naturally attract people who recognize and honor that dignity. The way we treat ourselves sets the standard for the kind of love we invite into our lives. If we walk with respect, we draw in love that reflects it back to us. When self-respect is present, love becomes healthier from the start. We don't settle for crumbs, we don't tolerate inconsistency, and we don't mistake attention for affection. Instead, we seek out relationships rooted in trust, honesty, and mutual value. That shift filters out the shallow and makes space for something deeper. Stronger love grows when both people come to the relationship as equals. Self-respect makes equality possible because it ensures that we are not looking for someone to complete us. We already feel complete. Love then becomes about sharing, not about filling a void. That creates a partnership where both can thrive. When we respect ourselves, we communicate differently. We express our needs without fear, we listen without defensiveness, and we stand firm without hostility. This kind of communication builds trust, and trust is the backbone of strong love. Without respect, even the most passionate love can collapse under poor communication. Respect also protects us from falling into toxic patterns. When love starts to veer into manipulation, disrespect, or control, self-respect acts like a shield. It empowers us to say, "This is not love I will accept." That clarity not only protects us, but also deepens the authenticity of the love we choose to keep. Love inspired by respect is not fragile. It grows stronger with time. Because it is not based on fear or desperation, it doesn't crumble under pressure. Instead, it adapts, it matures, and it weathers storms with resilience. That strength comes from the fact that both people value themselves and each other equally. Even small acts of self-respect influence the love we attract. The way we set boundaries, the way we carry ourselves, the way we respond to mistreatment, all of these choices send signals about what kind of love we will allow. And love that rises to meet those standards is always richer and more enduring. In the end, respect doesn't just inspire better love, it transforms the very definition of it. Love is no longer about clinging, pleasing, or proving. It becomes about partnership, growth, and shared dignity. That kind of love is rare, but it is the kind of love that lasts. Love without respect often feels heavy, like carrying a weight we cannot put down. We become chained to the fear of losing someone, the fear of disapproval, or the fear of being alone. In that space, love becomes less about joy and more about survival. But when respect enters the picture, those chains fall away, and love turns into freedom. Respect frees us from the need to beg for affection. It reminds us that our worth is not tied to how much someone else loves us, but to how much we honor ourselves. This freedom allows us to give love generously, without fear of rejection, because we know rejection does not erase our value. Without respect, love becomes a prison. We stay in relationships where we are not seen, not heard, or not valued, simply because we are afraid to leave. But respect unlocks the door. It gives us permission to walk away from love that diminishes us, and to seek love that uplifts us. Freedom through respect also transforms how we experience love when we have it. Instead of clinging, we trust. Instead of controlling, we allow. Instead of fearing loss, we embrace presence. Love becomes lighter, more joyful, and more authentic when it is not bound by insecurity. Respect gives us the courage to say no. When love asks us to betray ourselves, it helps us stand firm when pressured to compromise our values for the sake of keeping someone close. That courage is freedom, the freedom to be true to ourselves while still opening our hearts to another. Love without respect creates silence. We hold back our truth because we fear it might drive the other person away. But respect creates voice. It allows us to speak openly, knowing that our honesty will not destroy us, even if it costs us the relationship. That kind of honesty is the foundation of real love. When we choose respect, we stop making fear-based decisions. We no longer love because we are afraid of being unloved. We love because we want to. That shift makes love a choice, not a chain. And chosen love is the purest, strongest, and most liberating kind of all. Respect does not reduce love, it expands it. It transforms love from something we cling to into something we share. It allows us to step into relationships as equals, to leave when necessary, and to stay only when love is healthy. That freedom is what makes love truly worth having.